Hello and welcome to FusionQA, episode 2 of Selenium using Ruby. In today's episode, we will be covering two things primarily, the first of which is how to switch between two windows, and number two, we'll be talking about how to handle JavaScript pop-ups. So let's get started. I'm first going to just launch my IRB session and get that started up. All right, so now we have our session here started, and let's get started with showing you how to switch between multiple windows. So the first thing that we're going to do here is we are going to navigate to a demo website that will allow us to use multiple windows. So I just did driver.get, and then I provided the URL for this demo application that allows us to test different windows or multiple windows. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to click on this button right here, this link, which is click here, and so we did that. Driver.find element, and we clicked on it with the CSS of example A, right? So it opened up a new window for us. That was the old one, and this now is the new window. So now we're in the new window that opened up. We automatically the browser moved us to that new window. So now we want to switch back to the first window. So if you want to switch back to the first window, all you have to do is do this, and while we're doing this in the console and the terminal, notice the action that happens in the browser. Right, so we're just gonna enter that to see. So the window here changed. All we did was driver.switch to window, and then driver.window handles, and this is we said dot first, meaning we want to switch back to the first window. And going back, forgot to mention was driver is basically our Selenium-Webdriver instance for Chrome. So that's why we're referencing driver all along here. And so that last command that we did was allowed us to switch back to the first window. And now if we want to go to the last window that we opened, it'll be a similar command to the first one. And you see here, it went back to the last window. So the only thing we really changed was this last portion here where it says dot last from dot first. So if we do it again, if we do dot first, it'll take us back to the first window. If we do dot last, it'll take us back to the last window. So that's all there is to that. Dot first window, and dot last window, right? And then these are the methods that we use with Selenium and Ruby. Switch to dot window, and then within that we have different parameters: driver.window.handles, driver.window handles, and then we specify, is it going to be the first window you opened or the last window that you want to access. So the next thing that we are going to talk about is how to handle JavaScript alerts or JavaScript pop-ups in your web application. So first off, we will access the web page that allows us to demo some of these JavaScript alerts. And so we went there, driver.get, and we just we went to this URL here, which basically is a nice demo page that allows us to play with some JavaScript alerts. So if I click on these, you'll see we'll get some JavaScript alerts. So what we want to do is we're going to click one of these buttons to give us a JavaScript alert. So I'm going to do this one right here, driver.find element, and I clicked on this button, and 1. If it was 0, I would have clicked on the first one. Number 1 corresponds to this one, and number 2 would be this one. So I clicked on number 1, which is the middle one here. Click for JavaScript confirm, right? And I did not click. So it basically gave us a JavaScript alert here, a pop-up that says I am a JavaScript confirm. So now we had the option of clicking on OK or clicking on cancel. And we will now, before we can do that, but what we want to do is we're going to switch to that alert box. And then I'm also going to, in that whole action of switching to the alert box, I'm going to put that into a variable called pop-up. So what I did was we now did driver.switch to alert, and I stored that whole action in a variable called pop-up. Now any action I want to do on that JavaScript alert, I can just do with pop-up dot, right? So I want to click OK, for example, right? So I'll do I want to do pop-up dot accept, and that will basically give me that'll allow it to click OK. So notice that, and then it basically accepts the pop-up. Now, what if we wanted to click on cancel instead of OK? So let's try that. Let's click on the JavaScript button again. So we're gonna click on this button right here again with this command, just like that. So we got the JavaScript alert again. Now another way to click without doing that whole pop-up thing is just doing this. We're just gonna do, instead of pop-up, you can do driver.switch2.alert, and then we're gonna call a .dismiss, and that will basically click the cancel on that JavaScript pop-up or alert. There you go. And it tells us right here you clicked cancel, right? Before we had clicked OK, and that's what it said. So that wraps up this episode. I hope this episode was of benefit. If you have any suggestions or questions, please leave a comment below or email me at Farooq@FusionQA.net. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel and connect with us on social media. The show notes and other details are in the description. Thanks for watching.